Yes, you're welcome to Excellence Impact on High Television. It's always a pleasure to be with you, and you're welcome. Today we are going to be having a very interesting session, and I urge you to be on your TV set, and also you can be part of the program using the numbers you send on your screen. Our topic for today is when intellectuals and political leaders fail in a continent, what is Africa's legacy? When intellectuals and political leaders failed in a continent, what is Africa's legacy? That's our topic for today, and you can be part of the program using the numbers you find on your screen. With me here on set, we have Musoke Lucas Lyonga. He is the General Coordinator of Excellence Union International Group, a modern nation builder, youth development expert and consultant. It's a pleasure to be with you today, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here because this might be one of the most important topics that will be treated this year, 2024. And I wish that all the youths all over the world, all African youths all over the world, should be able to follow this program of today. It's actually going to be the heartbeat of maybe this year. And since we are taking time off to talk to the youths, please, youths, take notes. If you have your pen, you have your notebook, take note, even though you might not jot many things, but listen to this and be watchful, because this will likely be the solution to your life.
All right, thank you very much. And like I said, or like Mr. Musoke said, it's very important, especially for the youths to be part of this program. Okay, you can also send your questions, okay, if you have any doubt. All right, we are going straight to our discussion, Mr. Musoke. I would first of all like us to start by looking at the African intellectuals and political leaders. What have they been doing, or what impact have they been creating as far as Africa is concerned?
I wish to first of all say that all what Africa is using today is foreign. It's not part of Africa. And when you are using something which is foreign, it might never work for you. You know, it's good to most of the Western cultures, the Americans, the Eastern cultures and the rest, have been preserved, and it is based on their cultures that they build their legacy, on which the youths are exploiting and using today to build their lives. Africa's own legacy, or what Africa had as that which was naturally theirs, they have been derailed from it. They have been taken away from it. They have been shown that that which they have is not good. What is good is what is coming from elsewhere. So today, we need to look into this issue that when you are building a continent, a nation, on foreign inspirations, it might never work for you, especially the inspiration of intellectualism and the inspiration of politics. These are not African-based entities. And because they are not African-based entities, Africa has not looked for her own entities that will work for her. She is depending on what she does not even know about. She is struggling to study it. And it has not actually worked for her, because you have imported that which does not belong to you, and you don't know the secret of those things. You don't know the secret of those cultures. You don't know the secret of those entities. You are just an end user. But those entities have their secret, and it is a secret that makes it to prosper. So we need to look into those things so that we'll be able to help the youths of Africa.
I'll just quickly ask you this question. When you say we look at intellectuals, we also look at politics as something that is foreign. Are you saying that those things are not part of Africa?
I mean that the line of intellectualism, you need to build your own intellectualism. I'm not saying that intellectualism is bad, but I'm saying that you should build what is working for you. For example, most of the economic theories we use today, a good number of Eastern and American professors have debunked all those theories, and they have shown us what is working today. But We took what they gave initially and we are still working on them. It's no longer working. It's no longer applicable in a changing and disruptive world in which we live today. Most of those things have changed. But you who just took it as a receiver, you don't know what is happening with it because it's not yours. But those who came up with it, they have been monitoring it because it's a foundation from them. They have been monitoring it to see whether it's still working. And they have said, no, this things no longer work. And they have come up with new things that work for them. So as it stands, what we are trying to say is that you can only develop with what you master or you have a mastery of. You cannot develop with what you don't have a mastery of. Because development comes with mastery and comes with a lot of hard work in creativity and innovation. And that is what is very important. So the African space is full of copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. And when the things change, you still deal with what you pasted. You don't know what the foundation of that was given to you, which those who are monitoring the foundation, because they are the ones that started it, they have already changed and switched. But they will not tell you that they have switched. They'll still leave you in ignorance. Because that is not their job to come and tell you that they have changed, because it's a world of competition. It's a world whereby everybody wants to be ahead. So they instead wish that you should stay in ignorance so that you stay there for long, whereas they have gone ahead. That's why you need to look for your own thing that works for you. So that when it's no longer working, you yourself, you understand that it's no longer working and you check why it's no longer working. And you come up with an innovation or you come up with something new that is going to work at that particular time. That's why there's a very big problem with imitation. Because when things change, you may not even understand that things have changed. So it's in that line. I think you as a journalist, you know what to ask. But let me say that this program, this particular program, as I said, it may be one of the most important for this year. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And televiewers, joining us here on set is Joan Tambelin. She's a journalist and also a woman advocate. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Alice. Once again, it's a beautiful pleasure to be with you.
All right. I'll just quickly ask you this overall question. We're looking at the African youth, okay? Your perception, what do you have to say about the African youth? Are they pushful? Are they people who are open to change? And looking at their mindset generally.
Thank you so much for that wonderful question. I think that's the thing in Africa that we need to have a relook on it. African youth, we were built in a myth that we think that it's only about the white people. It's all about white man country. It's all about going to school and learning how to draw a fish. It's all about having a certificate. It's all about having a degree, having this. I think that it is time for African youth to know that we have to be innovative. We have to start thinking out of the box. We have to start putting up our own businesses, which on my own view, I want to think that we are already thinking like that. A lot of youth, you see small boys, you see small girls, they are already knowing that they have to become CEOs. It's no longer about my degree, it's no longer about what I have. It's about trying to have the knowledge which I had in school to build up my own business, to build up my own empire. So I think that African youth, before were not actually thinking out of the box, but I think we are progressing right now. Right. There is a huge progress. If you want to say that there's no progress, then we are not ascertaining, we are not seeing it important for people who are already doing it. Because I can tell you that I'm seeing some very young youth actually doing big things. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to emulate.
All right, thank you. Mr. Mazoke, they always say that if you keep doing one and the same thing over and over and then you don't receive any change, there is a need for you to change the way you are doing that thing. Maybe you'll get positive change. We are looking at the intellectuals and political leaders in Africa. I'll start with the intellectuals first of all. They have been carrying out certain research on, especially in schools. Even if you go to school, before you graduate from the university, you have to carry out a particular research. And even our intellectuals, they have been carrying out research. But what do you think that happens along the line that even though they carry out this research, the result is hardly seen practically?
Intellectualism that has lasted for more than 60 years and has not produced result is not intellectualism, it's ignorance. I want you to listen very well again. I said intellectualism that have lasted for more than 60 years, going to 70 years, 80 years, and which has not brought in solutions, which have not solved problems, and which have not changed the lives of people, the livelihood of people, is not intellectualism, it's ignorance. And I followed a lot of programs. I followed a program that took place in the United States, no, not in the United States, in the UK, and one of the top professors who came, I think, from Turkey or whatsoever, says she believes so much and very well that there are no intellectuals in Africa. And she explained the reason why. She said a continent cannot be manipulated by illiterates, and that continent claims to have intellectuals. He said it's not done, and it's not found anywhere in the world. And so she doubts, are there actually intellectuals in Africa? She asked this question, and you cannot blame such a professor to ask whether there are intellectuals in Africa. Intellectualism has outcomes. There are things that show proof of intellectualism. It's not tied to, it's not I'm a master degree holder, it's not I'm a professor, it's not I'm a doctor that makes you an intellectual. No. Intellectualism is measured by the results, by how the lives of people have changed, by how society have been transformed, by how communities have been transformed. Intellectualism that still breeds a lot of poverty is not intellectualism. Intellectualism which makes people to run away from their continent is not intellectualism. There will not be intellectualism in a continent that people are running away from that continent, whereas it is intellectualism that changes things, that brings change. If people are running away, it means that there's a problem. So you need to re-evaluate your intellectualism. What I call intellectualism, is it truly intellectualism? You have to be very honest to evaluate and to check with an honest, positive mind. What I call intellectualism today, is it truly intellectualism? Because what the white man, or let me say what the Europeans and the Americans call intellectualism is very different from what we call intellectualism here. Because their own intellectualism brings results. They see results. They see what is happening. But our own intellectualism seems to be ending up in big titles and publication of papers that finally go nowhere. Writing of books that finally go nowhere. Writing of papers which do not transform your own life, not talk less of others. Your own life is not transformed. So intellectualism starts by transforming yourself first, before you can talk about others. But if you are saying you are not transformed, and that's what we see today in Africa. This topic is very sensitive, but it's very truthful. You cannot continue to do something and it's not bringing change, it's not bringing solution, it's not bringing results. Then you still claim that you are an intellectual. No. If this is how the Europeans cling into intellectualism, they wouldn't be where they are today. They had to do a lot of changes, innovation to be where they are today. But we are in a continent where people are proud to have a big title, but you don't see what they have done to transform the communities. And one of the greatest problems we are facing today in Africa is the massive unemployment rate. I mean, the huge unemployed youth. The huge unemployed youth in Africa. It's alarming. It's a very big problem in Africa today. And if we have intellectuals, then the results, they need to look into the solutions of all this. But there is a problem. We're going to come into more detail and to touch very sensitive things. We have a problem in Africa. And one of the greatest problems we have in Africa is this issue of intellectuals, which is a problem in itself. And it has created greater problems, which is the massive youth that are unemployed, which means that what is being given to them is not commensurate or is not useful at the age in which they live. Because how is intellectualism also rated? It's rated when it is extremely innovative. Extremely innovative. I mean, it changes with time. Very fast. As time is changing, intellectualism changes. So if you are an intellectual that was useful in the 5th century, and you are living in the 21st century today, don't think that you are still useful. No. Thank you. I'll come back.
You really come back. Thank you very much, Mr. Musoke. And we are here to talk about the Young African Women Congress. All right, tell us, what is it all about?
Thank you so much. I'm here to talk about the York Network. The Young African Women Congress is a place where women in Africa and out of Africa, we come together, we put resources together, and we see how we can move the woman to the next level.
Okay.
There's too much talking about women emancipation, too much talking about women empowerment. Now, this network actually started in Ghana, and it is spreading all around Africa. We have the Nigerian chapter, we have the Sierra Leone chapter, we have the Uganda, we have Kenya, and the Cameroon chapter too is ongoing right now. So we have just succeeded in bringing the network to Cameroon, and we want Cameroonian women to belong to this network. This network, we always have our summit, we always have our congresses where we gather women from all around Africa. So for example, in Cameroon, we can have like almost 82 members. In Nigeria, they have over 300 members, and in other places. So this is a network where women come together, we share our challenges, and we see how we can solve it and move the woman to the next level. So I'm coming on air right now to call on African women, to call on especially Cameroonian women to belong to York. We actually have a network which is coming up on our summit network, which is coming up on the 20th of July. That is in a few weeks. We'll be having this network right here in Buea. We'll be live here in Buea around the Women Empowerment Center. So it is a space where women should come from the villages, from the town, all over Cameroon. Please come to the York Summit. Come, we will come there, we'll get somebody to register you. Once you become a member, you now start benefiting, attending seminars and having opportunities to travel. People, we are endowed, we women, we are endowed. We have things that we can teach other women, but we don't have the space, we don't have the opportunity, we don't have somebody that can push this, what you have in you outside there. So we are calling on every woman, especially in Buea. This summit cannot be taking place in Buea, and women in Buea are left behind. The delegate herself will be right there. I've already spoken to Mama. Mama will be right there. She's one of our speakers, one of our very powerful speakers. So please come. We want to pull out the curtains. We want to expose women to the world. It's not only going to be happening in Cameroon. It's happening in Nigeria. It's happening in Uganda, in Sierra Leone, in Kenya. This summit is taking place all over Africa. So Cameroon, it is our turn. Let us come for the summit. Okay,
when you say it's taking place here in Buea, is it that it's just the Buea community or all the members from all over Cameroon?
Members from all over Cameroon. Actually, the membership I'm talking about, which is over 80 members, is from Yaoundé, from Douala, from Garoua, extreme north, everywhere in Cameroon, from Manfé. So we have members all over Cameroon. But this summit is going to hold in Buea. It means all the members and the would-be members and visitors, wherever you are a woman, even if you are a man, please come. Even if you are a man, even if you are a youth, please come. Do you care about the next level of the woman? Please come. So these members I'm talking about are coming from all over Cameroon. So everybody who is a York member is coming, people who are just coming as visitors, people who are coming as potential partners, people who are coming as potential benefactors. Please come and benefit from the York Network. So we are having membership all over Cameroon. People who are coming to visit, people who are coming to partner with us. We have powerful speakers, and I don't want to unveil something from the box. We have one of us who will be one of the speakers for this summit. So please come.
All right, thank you. I'll be coming back for you to tell me some of the benefits that if somebody wants to register, or if you register, you're going to be getting from the York, as you called it. Because if somebody is watching from home, they will have to see the reason why they should come and attend. All right, I'll come back to you. Mr. Musoke, I want us to shift away from intellectuals and go to political leaders. When we look at talk of political leaders, they are the decision makers. They are at the forefront of a country or a continent. And if looking at Africa, you've just mentioned the high rate of unemployment with the youth. We have poverty. Are we saying that our own Africa or political leaders, their decisions, when they are taking decisions or any decision they want to take, do they really consider the masses? Do they consider the youth? Do they consider the people in the continent?
Yeah, that topic I can take the next 2 months to talk about it, but primarily just a little bit about the primary forms of leaders that we have in Africa. we have democratic leaders, but it's not democracy. According to that, we have autocratic leaders. Then in between those two set of leadership, you have what we call the hypocrites. That's hypocritical leadership. And let me tell you that what is going on in the world today, especially in Africa, is hypocritical leadership. Because democracy is simple, is defined in a simple word that it's the government of the people, for the people, by the people. Which means that if you are a government of the people, for the people, and by the people, then that's not what we see in Africa. But Africa claims to be democratic. It's not, there's no democracy in Africa. There is just the slogan of democracy. It doesn't exist. You have dictatorship, which is a part of autocracy, where you have autocratic leaders, which are dictators. You have that one also, which is very, very bad. What is very, very predominant in Africa is hypocrisy, hypocritical leadership, which means that people pretend what they say is not what they do. What they say the continent is not what the continent is. So the politics that we were supposed to have in Africa was supposed to be African politics. What can work for Africa? Africa is not the West. So Africa is in a trap. You are in a trap in a system of leadership that you don't have a mastery and you cannot implement. Because true democracy, one person cannot be in power for more than the required terms according to Constitution. True democracy, you don't rush to change constitutions left and right. True democracy means your term is over and you leave. Even if you are the most intellectual, you are the most intelligent person in the world, you leave. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that the democracy which truly is well defined, we took it as what we wish to implement, but we virtually have left with just the portion of elections, full stop. But the truth about democracy is that true democracy brings transformation. True democracy brings a change in a continent. But we've not put democracy into application. We are just singing the song of democracy, but it's not into application. In our continent, it's not into application. We have a lot of individuals who are so threatened that they must be in power. No. There is need for change. And change is what brings evolution. Change is what brings transformation. If you are the most intelligent person in the world and you are the head of state of a country and the Constitution says you have 2 mandates, when the 2 mandates reach, leave. Even if you are the best, let another person also come in and take the people away. We need to have many people lead a country and come up with new ideas, come up with innovative ideas. Because no one man has it all. No one man is the best. Lead and live. And it is true democracy brings change, brings transformation. Because ideas will be circulating. The next person that comes knows that I have 2 mandates and most. And you know that after this number of years, I'm gone. And you try to do your best because you know that you will not be there again. If you mess up, fine. When you leave, you have a messed up legacy that you leave behind. So what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to say that this word politics has been misunderstood in Africa. And it's being used from a manipulative perspective. And it has not helped us because we are so dishonest with ourselves and with our nations as African politicians. African politicians are so dishonest. They lie a lot and they don't speak the truth to the people. The people trusted them, but now we are living in a space of African politics which is no longer credible. People no longer trust the words of most African leaders. People don't trust their words again. The politics in Africa, people don't trust it again. People are so disappointed, so frustrated with what is called politics today in Africa. And worst of it, the colonial master, the imperialists, still have their hands behind the so-called politics. They have their hands behind. So there is a bigger hand that is manipulating So one of the greatest things that the African politician would have done first would have been to cut off from colonial masters, would have been to completely cut off from colonial masters, truly be independent, then be a master of their continent, be a master of their nation, and then that would be the ones to negotiate with other continents on how to trade, how to carry on diplomatic activities. But we are living in a continent that does not have control over herself, that is helpless, whose control is still engineered by colonial masters who have not let go Africa. They pretended to have given or granted independence to Africa, but they did not. They did not. Africa is not independent in the true sense. It's just paperwork that was done, but the reality, the practical nature in the field. Look at all African nations. It's filled with multinational companies that are foreign. They are not African companies in most of the cases. But I think that Africans, there are many Africans all over the world who could have giant companies, run their electricity companies, run their water supply companies, and so on. They are able. Africans in the diaspora are able. Africans in Africa are able. But we have a type of politics that does not favor the Africans, even in their own continent. It's a problem. It's a very big problem, and it really needs to be looked into, especially the youth that are coming up. You have to work so hard, youth, to knock off this illusion and bring in place true politics that will work for Africa and that will take Africa to the next level. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Madam Joan, you're talking about, let's see, if somebody wants to come to that summit on the 20th of July 2024 at the Youth Empowerment Center, at Women Empowerment Center rather, what are they going to benefit? Like, if I want to become a member, why should I be a member of YAC?
York Network.
Okay, York Network.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Alice, for coming back to me. Actually, for the York Network, when you belong with us, you already registered, you have a membership card and everything. You actually have free access to master's classes, like for example in mental health. We have master's classes in communication. We have master's classes in conflict management, in peace building, and in conflict resolution. We have many other courses which we give for a master's course. Out of that, we have opportunity to meet other great women out of Africa, where we share our challenges and we build ourselves up and how to manage these challenges. We also have this. We also have issues with visiting women who have lost their self-esteem. For example, women in the prison. We will not want to empower ourselves and leave the women in the prison. We'll reach out to those women, even women in the rural areas. It's about making sure that as you move along, there is one woman that you must hold, one woman that you must pull along. You don't just go alone. So you must pull along one woman. So while you are coming for the summit, know that you'll be entitled to somebody who is going to hold your hand in this journey of upgrading. We call it upgrading other women. So while you are upgrading yourself, there is one other woman. So when you come for the summit, there's one big woman that will hold your hand.
Okay.
So as she's climbing with you. We are making sure that every step that we take, you have to make that step one other less privileged woman. So while you are coming, know that one great woman is going to hold your hand for the next level in life.
I think that's even the more reason why every woman should.
Every woman should come.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Amusoke. Before we go to start looking at what is the fate of Africans with all of these things that we've just mentioned, there's one thing I want to talk again about the intellectuals. If you look at our African intellectuals, especially here in Cameroon, most of the times what they do, majority of them, they are lecturers in the university. That's what they mostly do, and they hardly do any other thing. Most of them are lecturers in the university. That's why you see in Cameroon, if they want to carry out a project, they'll bring foreign companies and they come and do that, which they are supposed to. Cameroonians are supposed to do that and even collect that money. Do you think that just being lecturers and teaching students, what they themselves will come and teach again in future, will Africa ever experience that change? Because what these intellectuals are teaching these students is what they too will grow up with and maybe teach the other generation that is coming up.
No, don't be too quick to classify them as intellectuals. I said that first of all, to be a lecturer in the university does not mean you are an intellectual. Another point to be made very clear: to be a lecturer in the university does not necessarily mean that you are an intellectual. to be a professor in the university does not necessarily mean that you are an intellectual. I want that point to be made very clear today, because we have a lot of people who carry the name intellectual, but they are not intellectuals. They are not intellectual, because this is what I wish to make young people to know. To call yourself an intellectual, you must show proof of what you have brought into the world, in a community, as a result of the application of your intellect. Let me give a simple example. Very, very simple. We use a mobile phone today. It's as a result of the works of some intellectuals. That, thanks be to that we have mobile telephony today. We are communicating today at high television. It is thanks to the works of some intellectuals that you are and I can communicate today. The African intellectuals, the Africans who claim to be intellectuals, what can they show clearly in their continent that they have done for their continent? What have they done? Intellectualism does not mean you should teach in class. Anybody can teach. Everybody can teach. That's why I said that to be an intellectual does not necessarily mean that you can teach in class. Who cannot teach? Can't you teach? So an intellectual is somebody who has brought in transformation, change in a community. That's why we talk about teaching at the university, research and outreach. What is important is the outreach. People want to feel the impact of what you claim you know. People are not interested in the too much grammar, the grammar that you can hit. People are not interested in that. The grammar that does not bring food on people's table is of no use. The grammar that does not make women to change is of no use. The grammar that does not make use to change is of no use. We are talking about transformation. We are talking about results. We are talking about solutions in communities, in societies. We are not talking about big names that do not have any results, anything to show forth, whose products are scattered everywhere, unemployed. So you need to it's high time we assess this. You no longer call yourself an intellectual by ending in the four walls of a classroom. You are not an intellectual. Intellectualism is portrayed by the outreach, by what people receive from you. That is what distinguishes you from a layman that does not know anything. You cannot call yourself an intellectual and your community is dying of what you claim you know or what you claim you have. We had the COVID-19 that hit the whole world today. What did African intellectuals do? As they claim to be intellectuals, what did they do? Some of them we were importing a face mask and the rest of it. Please, it's disheartening. That is why we are living in an era and an age where those who call themselves intellectual are silenced. Because African nations are suffering because they truly don't have intellectuals. They have big title carriers and holders without any result, with no results. Let's speak this truth clearly and let these people who claim to be intellectuals evaluate themselves. Are they intellectuals? Why are all the youth or most of the youth unemployed? It means that what you are giving them is useless. What you claim to be important. I said it and I made this statement very clear one day when we were talking with some friends. I said, please, if the knowledge you are giving to students have not transformed you, then what you are giving them, you're not going to transform them. You are an intellectual teaching business administration, teaching business finance. You don't have a business, but you are teaching business finance, business this and that. No, you should teach from practice. What are you practicing? You cannot be talking about women and gender, women and this. Then you cannot keep a husband at home. You don't have a husband, and there are many of these things. You are teaching women and gender study, and you talk about women. Then your home is in shambles. So it's time to be questioning people about what they are doing and about what they are saying. We are living in a world that needs to be practical. The practical world that solutions come from left and right. And these solutions are used to solve problems that are existing in the community. We have passed the stage of noise. That's why somebody said, Africans talk a lot. Africans talk a lot, but we don't see anything. You talk a lot, we don't see anything. We have passed the days of talking. Now we are going into the era of results, producing results. Training youths that will bring solutions. Training youths, training women that will bring a change in their community. That is the era in which, an era where journalists should be fruitful. Not an era where journalists are those human beings that stay behind the mic. No. But journalists will be those people that bring solutions, that gives reports, that transforms communities, that people learn from. That's what we are saying. Thank you.
All right, this question says, following the aspect of bringing foreign companies to work in our country, do you think that these intellectuals are being given the opportunity, particularly when it comes to taking certain decisions that will benefit the continent?
An intellectual is the topmost human being that gives opportunities to others. Nobody gives opportunity to an intellectual. Instead, it is intellectuals who give opportunities to others. Take note. You cannot be an intellectual and you want to be given opportunity. No. Because you know what opportunities are. That's why you are called an intellectual. So you are the one that gives opportunities to others who don't know what opportunities are all about. An intellectual does not seek to be given opportunity. Rather, you are the one giving opportunity to the government. An intellectual gives opportunity to government and to others. That is the difference between an intellectuals and noisemakers and teachers in the four walls of the class. A teacher in the four walls of the class, that must say, is not necessarily an intellectual. An intellectual is the one that gives instructions, gives knowledge, gives directives to people.
When they give like that, do they follow them? Do they hear what they are saying, or they do what they want?
Let people see it also applicable in your life. That's why I said that it should apply first in your life before others. You cannot be telling people what you don't do. So let people see the vigor. For example, there are people that are not intellectuals, but they are pulling mammoth crowd. They are not intellectual. Why? Because people have seen the results through them. So to call yourself an intellectual, let people see the results through you, not only through publications. Let your life reflect transformation. Let what you are doing in life be a testimony that people can hang on. So that when you tell them and they don't apply, that one is their business. You have told them. If the government does not take, give it to the community. The community cannot refuse. Never can you give something to the community that will transform their lives and they refuse it. No. That is where the issue is. So there is no government in the world that is above intellectuals. Intellectuals are the top-notch human beings in the world that we have in all domains, because they know how to come out. When you lock them here, they know how to come out. They are the ones that even coach governments in some things. But before doing that, they have a lot also to offer from their own perspective and from their own side. And secondly, to the communities. You cannot come to Moloko and say, okay, all the farmers in Moloko, I want all of you to come out. I want to give you people free fertilizer today. Please, the stadium will be too small to see the mass that will come out. You are bringing a solution. Will they refuse? But when you keep on remaining in talking and noise, please, it's a problem. That is it. So let people learn the difference between intellectuals and classroom teachers and lecturers. There are lecturers and there are professors who only lecture at the four walls of classrooms. They are not necessarily intellectuals. You see intellectuals by their works, and the works should reflect in the communities. It does not end in the four walls of the classroom. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Joanne, you are the Cameroon chapter coordinator for York Network.
Yes.
I called it well.
Yes, York.
York Network.
You should belong to York.
Okay, I will. I just wish to find out, do you think that there are still some women that are being relegated at the background? Because there's a lot of talk about women empowerment, that women should stand up, women should action now, all of that. Do you think that there are some women that are still very slow, that are not really catching the fire when it comes to women empowerment?
Yes. Till tomorrow, there will still be. There are women who don't have this self-esteem. They don't know that they are human beings, and they don't know that they have the right to say that I am a human being. They think that they are just a woman. And being just, the word I am just a woman is already a word that subjugates you to the background, that relegates you to the kitchen. When you say I am just a woman, it's like your brain is just the brain of just a woman. It's like the way you see things, you are seeing it like just a woman. The way you think, the way you do, whatever thing that when you say I am just a woman, that is why when you want to look at the human right, they say human right. They did not say men's right. They say human right. And a woman is a human being. So we have the right, just as the man, to do whatever thing that we want to do. To think right, to act right, and to invest, and to be CEOs, and to be doctors, and to be. So a woman is not just a woman. A woman was created by God and was given a lot of endowment. So there are some women who till tomorrow, they'll still think that they are just women. So we'll not just stop talking, but we'll keep on talking and doing it. Just as Mr. Mosoke is saying that intellectuals are not just to talk, it's not just about going to classroom, it's not just about doing lectures, notes, it's about transformation. Let people see what you can do. Let people see in you. You that you are talking about women empowerment, are you yourself empowered? That's how people will be looking at me now. Yes, because now we have come to the era where we have to be teaching by example. What you are speaking, people should see it in you. Are you what you are speaking? So, York Network, as a Cameroonian coordinator, I want to say that it is time for us to stop talking too much. It is time for us to act. Actually, our theme for this year is engaging women for an economic takeoff in the 21st century. Yeah, we want to engage women for this economic takeoff. There's already an economic takeoff, and it is being pioneered, it's being pushed in front, it's being masterminded by the men. What about the women? See, all the problems that women have in their homes, in their communities, in their when you don't have the power to do, when you don't have the power to provide, when you don't have the power to bring up good suggestions to the table, you are useless on the table. They say he who blows the pipe determines the tune.
Yeah.
So you are not blowing the pipe. You are not bringing anything to the table. Now men are equipping themselves. They are owning companies. They are doing this. They are going to school. This Anglophone crisis that has come, that is looking like it wants to stay, but stay like that. But we command it not to stay. Let it go in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
This crisis has made the situation of women even worse than 20 years behind.
Yeah.
It has worsened everything. Women are like, even before our parents were even better. Our great-grandparents were even better. As I'm speaking to you right now, if you see what women are going through, but we want to empower those women for an economic takeover in this 21st century. Let women come and get empowerment. Is it empowerment through health? Come and get it. Is it empowerment through mental health? Many women just stay like this and they go off.
Yeah. Because
of the kind of things that is happening around them. Even if you go to a community where, just like Mr. Mosoke is saying that you can come to a community that want to give fertilizers or want to give something. The people who are distributing the fertilizers in the communities are men. And when the men are not morally, they are not morally strong, they are not morally sound, they will begin to ask the things that have given them to come and distribute to women. They will begin to come and exchange it with sex. They will say, if you don't give this, if you don't adhere to this, I want you this, I want you on my bed. If you are not there, I will not be able to give. The thing is not even their own. Why? Because women were not equipped, women have not been empowered to be the ones to do the distribution. If they are distributing things to women, women should be the ones to distribute it. Because they understand, the plight of women in the community. When they see a woman with a baby on her back, they understand what that means. But a man will not understand. But most at times, women are always at the mercy of of the donors, of the mercy of the distributors, which are not even the owners of the thing, and this is always making the women to be on the disadvantaged side. So we want to empower women. We want to put them on the spotlight. We want to show them how to go about it. And York Network is in Cameroon, and we are moving in all the regions in Cameroon in order to make sure that every woman has an opportunity to come out of the box. There are women who really want to come out of the box, but they don't have the opportunities. They are in a place where even for a car to reach there is not easy. They are in a place where you as a woman, you cannot even open your mouth to speak. They are operating under diabolic conditions where as a woman you speak, you die. Either you stay quiet or you speak and die. We want to reach out to those communities. We want to speak to those women. We want to make them understand their place in the communities. And let me tell you, Alice, there are communities where women are just there as women to have children. They are there as machines to have children. So we have come to say that we want women to come out of the box. We want women to be showcased to the world. York Network provides even opportunities for women to go out for seminars. You go to Ghana, you go to South Africa, you go to Sierra Leone, you go to Uganda, you go to Kenya, you go to Nigeria. For example, we have a seminar in Nigeria right now, which we'll be holding in Nigeria. So these opportunities which will create women to go out of the country. You meet other women. See, when you see another woman going through this kind of plight that you are going through, and how did she manage? How did they manage this aspect? How did they manage this conflict? You can apply it to your own setup and you work. So York Network is a very level-headed platform where it's not about women who know book. It's not about women who are journalists. It's not about, we have women in all cadre. We have medical professionals, we have journalists, we have Bayam Selam, we have teachers. Whatever you are, please don't think that York is a forum where they gather but intellectual women. It's not a forum where they gather but only women who know book. Please come, because through you will reach to community of women who are like you. If you are Bayam Selam, please come. Through you'll be our focal point representative for Bayam Selam women. That is why we want to get women in every aspect of life so that we'll be able to reach other women in that particular sphere. So that is what York is all about.
All right, thank you. When you be coming back, you tell us the time and the venue again for people to know the date, so that you should be able to, everybody should be able to go there on that day.
20th.
The 20th of July 2024. Mr. Mosoke, you've mentioned a lot of worries since this discussion about intellectuals, about political leaders, and Africa as a continent. What is the legacy of Africa now in all of this?
Yes, I needed to end with the legacy. If I go to the legacy now,
okay, it's too early.
It's too early because we've not yet established so many things yet. We've established a few. There's still a lot to be said.
Okay, maybe you just...
Depending on the questions that you are going to ask, we are going to come about the issue of legacy towards the end, so that we now do give what we think could be the legacy as of now. But depending on the questions you will ask, because I cannot just go and be talking and talking.
I want to.
Yes,
what do you think the African youth should do? Because if we are in a system where people are doing one and the same thing, there is no change, and these youth are looking up to these particular people. Because if I'm going to school normally, I'm looking up to my lecturer and listen to whatever the person is saying. So what should they start doing now to make sure that they don't fall into this same problem?
No, the youths are already in the problem. It's not that what they should do
come out from the problem.
They are already in the very big problem, and the youths need to know very well that the world in which we live today. I warned the youths last time, and permit me to warn them again today, that the world we live today is controlled by three great forces. I explained this the other time. I'm going to say it again. And it's very difficult for the youths to overcome any of these forces. But at least the youths have a way out. I will explain it. We are faced with the first great force that we are faced with is the colonial and the imperialist hidden hand still on Africa. This is one of it. The second one is we are faced with a force of leaders of Africa that do not have the youth at heart. They have their self-interest and the interest of the colonial masters. I explained this very well. The African leaders do not work for the interest of their masses, or the masses of the youth. No. They work for the interest for the colonial masters, so that the colonial masters will still preserve them to be in power. This is the reality. It's not something hidden. It's the reality, but the youth needs to know this. The third force that has come today, which is one of the worst of all the forces, is the proliferation of the force of occultism, whereby because the governments have failed, because the leaderships have failed, now they have brought in a condition to make youth be integrated into certain circles, and that condition is occultic. You have to belong to certain fraternities before you move up. That's another this is the biggest trap that have been placed in front of the youth now like this. What they have done is they have made the youth to become helpless, so that when this is presented, because you are in a helpless state, you can easily succumb to the trap of occultism. And this occultism is manifested in many ways. You have the Freemasons, you have the Rosicrucians, you have the LGBTQ today, which you're talking about homosexuals, lesbianism, and so on, witchcraft, and the rest. All these occultic practices, they are today the new order of the world. I'm permitted to say that the world is moving towards what we call the one world order, where these occultic forces are going to sit at the altars and control it. So the youth today are faced with this. Then what then is way out? I think that's what they use as we should be interested in. If we are faced with all this, how can we go out? How can we come out of this trap? First, you have the trap of occultism. You have the trap of African leaders that are irresponsible in most of the cases. We have the trap of the colonial masters or the imperialists that are also very much strong and make Africa to be uncomfortable for the African youth, so that they can run away to other continents, running away from gold to go where there is no gold again. All the gold is still found in Africa. So you are made uncomfortable to run away from your continent where you can make it your continent and become a big person. They'll make you to run away. Now, what is the solution? Please, I'm giving you people this one again for free. You are not paying me. I come here every Monday to talk. You don't pay me. It's not because I don't have many other things, it's because I want the youth, the women, and the communities to be knowledgeable enough so that they can run away from the traps of these evil men and women that are seated in high places. This is the way out. The first way out, and I made this point clear to that time, people to come back to it. The first way out is that you must surrender your life to Jesus Christ. I made this point very clear, and I said there is no neutral point. You are either with Satan or you are with God. When you claim that you are neutral, you are already with Satan. Because Satan loves neutral human beings. Just come and claim them and take them and go away with them. Please, I still wish to make this point very clear. Surrender your life to Jesus Christ first. Then after now, you go into practical and professional studies. Forget about all this noise about other things. Go the professional way. Go the practical way. Exploit information and communication technologies. Exploit the internet. Build your skills and become an entrepreneur in one way or the other. Even if you are a medical doctor, become a medical doctor who is an entrepreneur. Even if you are a nurse, become a nurse who is an entrepreneur. Even if you are what? art entrepreneurship as part of your life, and you are going to make it. You also have a lot of remote jobs today. You can stay in Cameroon and you are working to a company in the United States and you make a lot of money. But again, you need to have skills that are required. It's not just in space. You need to have the skills that that company requires to stay in Africa to work. There are many people who are working from Africa and they make a lot of money. Those jobs are there, but develop your skills, develop your skills, develop your skills. And when you develop your skills, you will be able to work on your own. You'll be able to become independent. And you will not be exposed to accept occultism for position. Because they give those things because of positions. You want to become director, you want to become governor, you want to become DO, you want to become this and that. I'm not saying that people who have no position are occultists. No. I'm just saying that big positions, at times, they present these things to you. Do you want it? If you don't want it, they put it down. I'm not saying that for all cases, but for majority of the cases in African countries, to be appointed to a top so you must belong to an occultic group. You must belong. It's everywhere in Africa today. Please run away from this occultic manipulation. And I also said that this occultic manipulation is also in churches today. There are pastors that are Rosicrucians. There are pastors that are occultists. There are pastors that go and take medicine and charms in other countries whose names I will not love to mention. But we know they go and take charms. There are elders of churches that are Rosicrucians. There are elders of churches that are Freemasons and the rest. There are elders of churches that are homosexuals. They hide right in church so that you will not know. But they belong. They are in it. That's why a pastor of a church is supposed to be on fire. When you call the word fire, I mean fire. Fire. It's not a joke. The pastor of a church is supposed to be on fire so that these occultic forces cannot come and influence you. If you are not on fire, they'll manipulate you in a very short while. And before you realize you are after girls, you now call girls in hotels, you as a pastor. There are many of the world already doing this, and they are crying every day. They do not know. But it's not too late. You can still repent, and God will still forgive you and restore you so that you go back and start doing the right thing, because you were not on fire. The occultic powers came and they subdued you. Be on fire, and not just pastors, all Christians will be on fire, because if you are not on fire, homosexuals will come your way, lesbians will come your way, girls that are not occultists but who are prostitutes will come your way. They will lure you, they will seduce you with exposing their breasts outside, doing all type of things, wearing very short skirts to seduce you men. So please, all these things, I must expose them. These are satanic and immoral practices. You must run away from them so that you can build your career in clean sheet. Develop yourself. Forget about all those courses that do not lead to anywhere. You know the courses that lead to somewhere today. I don't want to condemn some courses by calling their names. Some people who are there might be annoyed. But you know what I mean by practical courses, and courses that will take you out of this mess. It is not to have the name PhD. There are PhD holders that are beggars. There are professors that are beggars because they thought that it is intellectualism, but it was not intellectualism. They have not produced anything. And today they are lamenting, they are crying. I don't want you to fall into that trap. Go the professional way. Go the way of an entrepreneurship. You are going to come out from this trap that have been put for you people. And with time, all these things will fall off. The youth will take over their nation, because their nation have been hijacked by intruders. But it will not last for too long. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me just read this reaction for you to just react to it. This person says, hello, Hi TV. I wish to say that there is nothing for any youth in Africa. That is why you find many people abandoning even their jobs to go to Canada for greener pastures. Africa does not have any plan for the youth. That's why everybody is struggling even through the desert and seas to leave Africa. Thank you.
Now, there is everything in Africa more than any other continent in the world. Listen very well. I said there is everything in Africa more than any other continent in the world. That is why other continents are coming to Africa every day. Because we have what we don't know the value. The problem is that we don't know the value of what we have. It's like somebody who has a beautiful wife in his house. Then you still see him again loitering around with funny girls. We see it. I say somebody who has a beautiful wife in his house, still loitering outside with funny girls. We have a beautiful Africa. It's just that we have been brainwashed not to see the treasures we have in Africa. Africa is the most endowed continent in the world. It is still an emerging continent, so you can do a lot in a space that is still emerging. When you travel abroad, you go and work. They have already established their systems. You go and become an employee, and you are a slave for life. But you can build a good business in Africa, and you have a niche. You capture a niche, and you become a great person in Africa. There is everything in Africa more than any other continent in the world. Listen and listen very well. That is why these other continents are always coming back to Africa. Ask yourself, why are they not going elsewhere? Why are they only in Africa? Because we have what we don't treasure, and we don't understand the value of what we have. That's why you need to educate yourself practically now in order to be able to exploit that which is found in Africa. You don't need to travel to Europe. You don't need to travel to Europe. All what is found in Europe, you can find it today in YouTube. You can find it today on Facebook. You can study whatsoever you wish to study from here. You don't need to travel again to Europe. When you travel to Europe, you instead go and become a slave there. And you work, and everything is going back to their tax system. It goes back to the system. That's why you see people who have been in Europe for 25 years, they don't have anything. They are slaves. Am I saying that is everybody who is a slave out there? No, you can still go out there and you do a business and you also become a giant. I'm not refusing. But you have more chances to become a giant in Africa than elsewhere. Thank you.
Yeah, just permit me, let me just continue with this other question. The person started by saying that an intellectual is a person who engages in critical thinking, research, and reflection about the reality of society, who proposes solutions for its normative problems. And then, good morning, Alice. What a great topic. In our institution today, we have more of lecturers who can lecture from morning to night, but little or no results. From the definition above, you will see the clear meaning of intellectuals. Africa needs to shift from the mindset of talking and do the practical work so people can see the results. I wish to ask these questions to Mr. Musoke. Those who write articles such as books with solutions inside, are they intellectuals? I will answer after. Let me continue. Africa is suffering today.
Also so many tears, so many things. So.
Okay, answer that one first now.
Yes.
Those who write articles such as books with solutions inside, are they intellectuals?
Solutions are not found only in books. A solution that is claimed to be in book, which you don't see the result in the field, is not a solution. That still brings you to the fact that it still ends up in paper. Solution that ends up in paper, whether you call it book, and you don't see it in the field, is not a solution. It's a write-up. A write-up is not a solution. A solution is found in the field. It is in the field that we see solution. It's not in paper. Many people have written. It's found in books. It's found in papers. Where is it applicable in the field? Let the person himself who write or who wrote that book check with him. Is he himself in the field applying what he has written? We have passed the day when people sit down. Anybody can write. But when you write and you want it to make sense, let it be that you are an example of what you have written. That's why Jesus Christ preached what he was doing, what he was living. John sends his disciples to Christ and said, is it truly the real Christ that was to come? Jesus Christ did not talk. He did one thing. He casted out devils, healed the sick, raised the dead, and performed so many great miracles and told them, go and tell John what you've seen. He did not say that go and tell John what you've heard, what you've seen. What you see things in the field. We are not living in an age again where you say, I've written a book. It ends there. How is that book applicable in the field? How are you yourself? What have you done in the field with the content of that book? Let people see so that people will follow what you have done. Please, the days of talking, writing, and making noise have passed. People wish to see practicality in the field. That's why I say intellectualism is found in the field. It's no longer found in the classrooms. When it's not found in the field, it's no result. It has nothing. The Europeans have not ended in books. You see the practical things that they are selling every day we buy. You also have it in books. But where are we? We end up in books, writing the books, have book launch. But you don't see anything in the field. The youths are dying every day. The youths are hungry. The youths are frustrated. How has the content of that book helped the youth? How has it helped even you yourself who wrote it? You have somebody who says that he's a great writer, and the writings he has done does not reflect in his life. You see somebody with a torn gene, but he has written a book. If that book tells him that he should wear a torn gene, genes that are torn left and right, they see you destroy a word. People will see you as a clown. But you have written a book to talk about morality. You are dressing up like that. Please, let's leave the issue of jokes. We are talking serious things here. Africa must go to the field. Africa must bring solutions in the field. Youth must be in the field. The four walls of the classroom. There are people who are intellectuals today and are qualified as intellectuals in the 5th century. 5th. I'm not talking about 10th century. 5th century. We are living in the 21st century, which is a century of applications of knowledge. It's not theory. When you are teaching what you cannot apply yourself in the field, then you are not teaching. You are on learning or on teaching the people. You are giving them chaffs, which was supposed to be given in the 5th century, not today. We are living in a practical world today, where we see solutions practically in the field. That is what makes sense. When somebody is teaching business management, the person should have a big business. When somebody is teaching entrepreneurship in school, the person should be an entrepreneur. When somebody is teaching in agriculture, the person should have a big farm. Those days to make noise in class have passed, because this noise have produced hundreds of millions of unemployed youths roaming the streets. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me just complete this session. There's no question there. Africa is suffering today, and some underdeveloped because most of the people in power and those in the institutional sections are there to look for money to enrich themselves and their families. We are praying and hoping that a new breed of Africans will emerge and bring change. Mr. Mosoke is doing his best to educate the society and Africa, but it's unfortunate that those who are to bring this transformation have decided to allow stay in power, allow them to stay in power. May God bless Africa. Daniel from Boya. Thank you very much for your reactions. Okay, madam, this question, I'll ask you this question, and then maybe towards the end you tell us the venue, the time again to emphasize. There's this belief, I don't know whether it's a belief or it's a reality, that most of this women group, when this, especially when they say the educated women are calling this other uneducated women, or the bayam seller, like we used to say, to educate them, to empower them. Most of the times when they come out, they want to measure up to the men. They feel that they are above the men and all of that. Is this part of your network, or is different from this belief?
Okay, thank you so much, Alice. I think that is a very good question, and it is very imperative that we talk about it. Most of the times, men themselves, even the women who don't believe in gender emancipation, they want to think that we are talking about women coming out, women speaking out, women being CEOs, women believing in themselves. It's like those are the kind of women who want to measure up themselves with the men. Actually, it's not, gender equality is not about comparison. It's not about, when you see that it's comparison, it means you are getting it totally wrong. It's not comparison. It is an opportunity that women want so that they too can be able to be on the same fair ground with the men. It's not comparison. It's not that because my husband is this, I want to be this. Because it's not a battle. It's not a battle for the men. And that is, I think that is why, that is much more the reason why some men think that if their women are doing this, they should not support, because if this woman grows, this woman will be challenging him. A woman who wants to challenge you will challenge you even if she knows about gender or not. There are men who have abandoned women in towns. They go to the village to marry because they think that if they marry a woman who has gone to school, the woman will come and be challenging them. But when they went to the village and got married to a village girl, and the village girl comes now to town, the challenge was even more challenging. So it's not about it. Any woman who is even empowered should even respect the husband more. It's not a battle for the men. Just like they used to say that it's not a battle against one another, it's a battle against poverty.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not a battle against me and you. We are not fighting, right?
No.
But if we should join and fight poverty. So if a woman is trying to do something that will elevate her status, I think it's an opportunity for the man to be able to upgrade her woman. When you upgrade a woman, there will be less stress in the house, and the men will not even die quick. Have you realized that there are more widows than more widowers? Because of the level of stress that the men go through, because their women are not doing anything. The man will pay school fees for the children, the man will clothe the woman, will clothe the children, will pay the house rent, will build the house. How will the man not die fast? If you are a woman and you are listening to me now, and you are not doing anything to upgrade yourself, you are preparing to kill your husband. Yes. Hello? You are preparing to kill your husband. Because if you are doing something, your husband will be less stressful. And if you are building a house, your husband will be less stressful because the income will be coming on both sides. You are contributing to paying the children's school fees. Before your husband travels, he wants to come, you have paid the electricity bills. Some women stay in the house and they are calling their husbands on a mission trip, or their husband is working out of town, that the electricity bill has come. You call your husband for electricity bill of 3,000 francs, 5,000 francs, and then what is your role as a woman? What is your role as a woman? Are you adding to the man or you are subtracting from the man? Are you helping to build the man? Because when you are working, you are helping to build your man, and you are helping to build your family. So women empowerment is not a challenge to men. It's a battle against poverty. It's not a battle against men. It's a battle against poor living. It's a battle against relegating women to it's a battle against the poor economic status of the family. It's a battle against the poor economic status of our communities. It's not a battle against men. Instead, we want men like Mr. Mosoke Lucas and other men who think like him. I have a whole lot of men who believe in women emancipation. They believe in us. They believe that their women can do better. But there are some men, when they just hear that this woman wants to go to school, see, there are women who got married with advanced level and they remain in that level till now. Because their husbands are panicking to hear that they are going to the university. But there are some men who wanted their women should go to the university and come out as something and be able to elevate the status of their families. So it's not a battle against men. It's against poor economic status in families and communities. So men, do not be afraid. Join us. Let us battle.
The day, the time, the venue, the time.
Actually, the day is it's a Saturday, 20th of July, and the time is 10 a.m.
Okay.
We kickstart at 10 a.m.
You know, when you talk of women empowerment, we have two. One in Boyatown, opposite the Synod office, and one
at Bongo Square.
Okay, the one at Bongo Square. There was one that I really got confused. All right.
At Bongo Square.
Mr. Mosoke, we don't have much time. I think you start telling us now what is Africa's legacy in all of this.
Do we have reached that stage?
We don't even have much time.
That would be like my take-home message.
Go ahead. Ask the question. Answer that one, Mr. Mosoke.
Yes, I will answer that one at the end. If you don't have any other questions, then I have a few other things to say. If you don't have,
no, go ahead
as
with what you want
journalist,
to say.
ask the questions that.
Go ahead with what you want to say, Mr. Mosoke. I've asked a question, you don't want to talk.
Yes. Now, we're talking about intellectuals, and we're talking about politics in Africa, and we're talking about the youth and also the women. I wish to make some comments, especially to the youths. I wish to say that youth, listen and listen very well. The best thing is not giving. You go for it yourself. There are a lot of avenues today that you can exploit, especially in the digital space, that will make you to become a satisfactory person, that will make you to gain all the skills that you wish to gain to become a useful person. Even if you wish to study and go to the university and have a PhD, you will still realize at the end that it is emptiness if it doesn't result or lead you to become a wealthy person. Wealth is not a degree. Wealth is not a title. Wealth is hidden in one principal thing. This is a master class that you were supposed to pay me at least $1,000 each, that I'm revealing to people today. In as much as wealth is hidden in many things, but I want to tell you where the greatest wealth is hidden. The greatest wealth is hidden within you. You do not know this. It's not found elsewhere, it's hidden within you. The greatest wealth is hidden within you. You yourself. God has already placed it there. That's where the greatest wealth is hidden. That's why you should be able to discover it, then develop the skills for it, and become a very rich and wealthy person. Don't look so much at the outside and what others are doing, but look within you what you think is that ability that you need to develop, that talent that you wish to develop within you. When you develop, there are so many people today that are journalists that are truly not journalists. There are many people that are economists that are truly not economists. There are many people that are medical doctors that are truly not medical doctors. There are many people that are teachers, doctors, professors that are truly not, that was not their field. There are many people that are engineers who are not supposed to be engineers. And you can go on. It's because they chose the wrong thing. And you see now that they are not doing it. A good number, or they have changed. I've seen medical doctors that are today lawyers. They left the medical field. Today they are lawyers. They are barristers. But they went to the medical school. There are many people that were engineers. Today they are lawyers. And there are other things in life. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that let the external world not deceive you. Check that which is truly yours, that which is you. Go in for it and develop it. There are content creators today that are earning about 10 million francs every month. I mean content creators. And they're making a lot of money every month. That is their niche. That is their domain. There are people in different fields today because there's a lot of remote jobs today. In fact, 20 to 30% of the jobs in the world today are remote. It means that you work from home and you're working for another continent. But you need to develop that which that company, that remote company needs. You need to develop it. When you go online, you see so many of the jobs. But you need to develop those skills that are within you. Don't bother yourself so much about what others are doing. It's important. Bother yourself about what you should do and develop your own skills, develop your own self, and become the best in your field. When you are the best, you are not threatened. You are not. Many people are threatened because they are not the best. They are still lobbying around what is not theirs. And I think that so many people should go back and do what they should have done than to waste their whole life with what they were not supposed to have done, but they have it handy. So many people study this, A, B, C, whereas we're supposed to study X, Y, Z. Go back and study X, Y, Z. It's not late, you are still a youth. And that X, Y, Z is what is going to catapult you. The solution is not to travel abroad. In fact, there are more frustrated people abroad today than in Africa. You should hear this. There are more frustrated people today abroad than in Africa. Thank you.
You're welcome. Madam, we are almost going out. We have very limited time. I want you to give your take-home message. Maybe you give a call to all the women here in Buea and even around Buea to be part of the program.
Thank you so much, Alice. It was a beautiful time being here. So please, for my take-home message, I want to call on every woman in Buea. Every woman, every man. If you are a man who believes in a woman, if you're a man who wants to see the woman in the next level, if you're a man who wants to encourage the women in your community, I mean sincerely encouraging them, please come for the summit. If you are not in Buea, you are coming from Manfi, you are coming from Yaoundé, from Kumba, from Limbe, from Douala, wherever you are coming from in Cameroon, please come with your full chest, making sure that something is going to change in your life. This is a very transformative summit. It is one of its kind. It is a meet and greet. For all the new members who just registered, I'm excited to see you in Buea. I'm so much excited and filled with joy. It is our first time of actually meeting for the Cameroon chapter. Since we got involved in the York Network, we got the Cameroon chapter registered, and we have been operating online. So this is the first time we'll be meeting each other on a one-to-one basis. So I'm so excited to welcome you all in Buea. And I want to call on everybody, every woman to belong to York. York is a very transformative network. It is a network where you meet other successful women who are coming from grass like you and me. There are people who were once at the grass and now they are right up there at grace. So please come. We will tell each and every one of us will tell our stories. When you hear somebody's story, you will know how to manage yours. So please come. You meet other women who will mentor you. There are training options. Please come. Do not be left behind. It is a moment to grow. It is a moment for the next level. We want to put women in the forefront of empowerment for an economic takeoff in this 21st century. So please come.
Thank you very much. Every woman should make sure that on the 20th of July 2024, we are the Women Empowerment Center as from 10 o'clock. I
think you equally give us another opportunity on the eve of the event to come online.
All right.
Probably on this, so that I can come with other women who must have already entered Buea for the summit.
All right, I will do that. Mr. Mosoke, your take-home message, you have like 2 minutes to do that.
Yeah, my take-home message will talk about the legacy of Africa, even though it's too early to talk about the legacy. Because to see that the legacy which I wish to talk, especially to the youth, is that the African continent has been brought into a position whereby youths don't like their continent, and it's a serious setback. African youths don't like their continent. And it's a colonial trick. That is why when you travel to the US, they ask you whether you live in trees. They ask you whether planes come and land in trees. They ask you, how is your grandfather who lives in a tree? They even check to ask, are you people true human beings? Do you have a tail? These are the things that the colonialists taught their children so that they should dislike Africa. And there are many other deeper things that they said. Please, you are not living in trees. We are not broadcasting like this now from a tree. You are living in homes better than some homes in the United States and some homes in Europe. Better, far better than those homes. Please, your continent has been made in a way that you should not like it. And this is an error. Your continent, the legacy that have been left is that African youths don't like their continent again because they think that is hopeless. They don't have anything to gain from their continent. Please, youths, I want you to change this mindset. The legacy is bad because the African leaders and the colonial masters have made it in a way that African youths don't love their continent. And they are rushing and thinking that it's better elsewhere. But I want us to change the narrative of this legacy and change it to a new legacy. And which is that new legacy that I wish to throw in the hands of the youth? Is that take the bull by the horn. Take your continent by the horn and become a new African youth that is striving for excellence, a new African youth that is striving to be very hardworking, to be innovative, to be creative, and exploit the World Wide Web, exploit the internet, exploit all avenues to empower yourself, and you will be the best in the few years to come. Wipe off the legacy of a bad Africa and put on the coat of a good Africa. Africa is the best, and I want you to understand that you can make it here, and you should be the best in the few years to come. It is possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mosoke. We should thank Madam Joan Tambelin. And we are calling on all the women to make sure that on the 20th of July 2024, you are at the Women Empowerment Center here at Bongo Square to be part of the York Network. It's going to transform your life, so nothing should stop you from going there. Thanks for being part of this program. The rebroadcast comes up at 10 p.m. Join us again next week for another edition, and stay tuned to High Television.